A Freilich and Shushan Purim. Chullin Daf Kuf Tesvav. As we were saying yesterday, that anytime the Torah says you can't do something and you do it anyways, the product, the outcome becomes a toyeva, abomination, and you're not allowed to eat it or benefit from it. So now the Gemara says, well, let's go through 5 different things. You have Shabbos, that you are over and you do something the Torah tells you not to do it, and you're allowed to use the product. You have plowing a field with 2 different types of animals, or muzzling an animal where you're allowed to benefit, or klai hazroim, that if you take 2 seeds, you're not allowed to do it, but if you do it anyways, you're allowed to benefit. Shiloh hakan, and you have oisev es benoi, you're not allowed to shech the mother and her daughter the same or son the same day. If you do it anyways, you're allowed to benefit from it. Why is it? How does that fit into kol te'eva, that if it's an abomination, you're not allowed to benefit from it? So the first one is Shabbos. Shabbos, we know that if you were over, midiraisa, you're allowed to benefit from it. The Rabban, they said the person that does it on purpose, b'mezid, he himself is not allowed to benefit from it. So the Gemara says, because there's a special meat in Shabbos, it says, ki kodesh hilochem, the Shabbos itself is kodesh to you, but the products that come out of Shabbos don't have kedusha, they're not asur. And certainly, you can make Kavah Chomer to things that are not as Chomer Shabbos, such as if you plow a field with 2 different types of animals, or the animal has a muzzle on it, so the product that comes out from there is mutter, especially that product is not directly involved in the Isser. In other words, the Isser was with the animals and the plowing, and there was an outcome that came, peiros that grew out of the field, but the Isser was not done in the pre itself. Whereas basar b'chalav, the Isser is done in the chalav, in the basar itself. Now, what about klai zraim? If you take seeds, 2 or 3, depending on how you hold seeds, and you seed the grass, you plant them, you're allowed to use the fruit that comes out of it. And here, this was done in the seed itself. So on that, the Gemara says we have a special miyud because the Torah says pen tugdash. You have to burn klei hakerem. If you plant seeds in a vineyard, only then do you have to burn it and not benefit from it. But klei zraim, you're allowed to, and that you're allowed to benefit, but maybe you're not allowed to eat it. So that we learn from when you breed 2 different types of animals, you're allowed to benefit from it unless it's for kachim, for carbon. And we learn chulin of zraim from animals. And now, what about oisev es benoi? Torah says you're not allowed to shech the mother and her son on the same day. You went ahead and you did it anyways. You're allowed to benefit from the meat. Why is that? Because the Torah tells us that you're not allowed to bring a carbon from oisev es benoi. So if you shech the mother, you're not allowed to bring the son that day as a carbon. So it's a miyud only by a carbon and not by chulin. Shiloh hakan. Somebody, you're supposed to chase away the mother before you take the eggs, the birds, the baby birds, and you don't do that. You're allowed to benefit from the mother. Why? It's a tayeva. The answer is, it doesn't make sense that the Torah will tell you, shoo away the mother, do not benefit from the mother, and then some other person will catch the mother and eat it Isser. And now the Gemara is going to go into many other sources for the Isser of Achilas Basar B'chalav. Rosh Lakish says by Korban Pesach, Al toichlu no mimenu no ubashel mevushal. There's an extra word here, mevushal is extra. So obviously it's not talking about Korban Pesach, it's coming to tell us the Isser Basar B'chalav. Says Rabbi Yochanan, and he uses Lashon a few times in Shas, Ku'ura zu sheshana Rebbe. Are you appalled by Rebbe's limud? Why do you have to come onto your own limud? Rebbe says a different limud. I learned from Psulim Mikdashim. When we have a carbon, you can't use the carbon, it has a mum or something, so you're paida, you redeem it. This animal is somewhat chulin, somewhat hegdish. It's chulin because you could eat it, but it's hegdish because you cannot benefit not from its milk, not from its wool, you can't work it. And the Torah says you can't eat its blood. Now you can't eat any animal's blood. What's the chiddush here? So obviously it's coming to tell us basar b'chalav, says the Gemara, because basar b'chalav is very similar to psulim mikdashim. Because basar b'chalav is 2 products. You have basar and chalav, meat and dairy. And the psulim mikdashim is 2 products. It's chulin and kachim, as we explained before. Says Rosh Lakish, but I don't want to learn from there, like Rebbe, because where do I see from psulim mikdashim that you're not allowed to benefit from it? I see you can't eat it. You can't eat the blood, but blood you're allowed to benefit from. So maybe I should be able to benefit from basar b'chalav. And Rebbe, how does he know that you can't benefit from basar b'chalav? He's going to learn out from the word kaddish. It says kaddish by basar b'chalav, and it says the word kaddish by mishkav zachar. And just like mishkav zachar is a thing that you're not allowed to have anah from, so too basar b'chalav you can't have anah from. The Vei Rebbe Elazar, another source, they learn from Nevela that's mentioned the same pasuk as Basar B'chalav, that you can't benefit from a Nevela, give it to a guy, but you cannot cook it and give it to a guy. And that's how you see that you can't benefit from Basar B'chalav. The Vei Rishmal is the famous one that we said all the way in the beginning of the sugya that says Lo Yisavashel Gdi B'chalevi 3 times. One is to tell us the Isser Bishul, one is to tell us the Isser Achila, and one is to tell us the Isser of Hana to benefit from. And the final one for today, and it's a long one, is Isi ben Yehuda. It says, Ki am Kadosh Ata by Basar B'chalav, and it says the Lashon Kadosh by Treifa, just like Treifa, you're not allowed to eat from it, so too, Basar B'chalav, you're not allowed to eat. Now, how do I know you're not allowed to benefit from it? Says the Gemara, you learn from Arla. Arla, you didn't do anything wrong. You planted a tree, the first 3 years you're not allowed to eat from it, but you weren't over there, and yet you're not allowed to benefit from it. So certainly Basar B'chalav, that you did something wrong. The Torah said, don't cook it, certainly you shouldn't be able to benefit. And the Gemara goes into a few steps here. As you can see on the screen, Arla was never had a shasa kosher, you were never able to eat it. Whereas Basar B'chalav, you were able to eat it until you made the mixture. Says the Gemara, well, chametz will prove it to you. It's tzad shava. I bring in another thing. I'm learning from Arla, that's 1, and now I'm bringing chametz, which is 2. Chametz had a shasa kosher. You were able to eat chametz before Pesach. Now you can't. Well, maybe chametz is not a good example because it has a chumrah. But that's one way to break tzad shava, is bringing a chumrah. What's the chumrah of chametz? You get kares if you eat chametz. So the Gemara brings in a third thing, klai hakerem. Klai hakerem, you don't get kares, yet you can benefit from it. And from these 3 things, I can learn Basar B'chalav. Now the Gemara asks the question, why do I bring in a third thing called klai hakerem? Just go right back to the first one, which is Arla. I can learn out from Arla and chametz, I can learn out Basar B'chalav. What was your question? The chametz has kares. Well, Arla doesn't have kares, and you can't benefit from it. Why in the world did the Gemara introduce a third thing called klai hakerem? And because of this question, the Gemara gives us the yisoidas, the concepts of tzad shava for all of Shas. And it goes something like this. If it's very simple, depending how many places, how many sources you learn from. If a tzad shava only consists of, I'm learning my subject from one thing, then that would require, to break that tzad shava, you need either something, a chumrah or a kula, like kares is a chumrah or a kula, to say that what I'm learning from is different. I can't just knock it away and say, well, I plant that thing in the ground. That's not a chumrah. It's a fact. And that the Gemara wants to use that exact example of, it's gedulei karka, Basar B'chalav doesn't grow on the ground, whereas Arla and klai hakerem and chametz, food, grows on the ground. But that's just a tchiyah. It's not a kula or a chumrah. It's just, that's something else. That's called a pircha koldu. When you have 2 sources, then I could break it with a pircha koldu. I could say, those 2, they grow on the ground. But when I have 3, here's where it becomes interesting. Sometimes it's like as if I'm learning from 1, and sometimes as if I'm learning from 2. If I could break the third one, and I go around in a circle and I say Mat Tzad Shava, then I could just push it off with a kol dehu. But if I don't have the third one I can't break, then I need either a kula or a chumrah. And that's why the Gemara introduces a third thing called klai hakerem, because now I can't break the klai hakerem, so I need a kula and a chumrah, and I don't have, so I can't break the tzad shava, and I can learn Basar B'chalav from a tzad shava from all 3. Have a wonderful day.